Hi, my name is Alec Ripperger, a software engineer here at Livefront, and this is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, improving the pull request workflow through automation. We're going to walk through some common challenges associated with pull requests and how we can improve the pull request process, specifically utilizing two tools, Prettier and ESLint. We'll then discuss how we can integrate these tools with GitHub Actions so that their usage is enforced across our team. Let's start by talking about pull requests and some common challenges with them. Pull requests function as an important tool for teams to ensure code quality. It's important that a codebase maintains consistency in its format and function. Pull requests enable this by allowing or requiring a development team to review changes to the codebase, ensuring the incoming changes meet a certain threshold of quality. In short, pull requests facilitate peer reviews to improve code quality and ensure changes meet quality standards before merging. Pull requests can also act as an important tool in team collaboration and documentation by encouraging team discussion and providing a source of documentation as the codebase progresses. As you can see, pull requests are an integral part of the development process. They're also a lot of work. One issue that can make pull requests more difficult than they need to be is the debate that can occur between teammates on the minutiae of the codebase, naming conventions, import order of external code sources, and code formatting. That's not to say that these things aren't important. They certainly are for readability and maintainability. However, debate over these items can distract from the larger architectural or design decisions of the incoming code. It can also lead to unnecessary noise for pull request reviewers. This obstacle is often a symptom of misaligned expectations of the development team. Let's look at two facets of these expectations that we can help along with automation, specifically in the context of a JavaScript project. One facet is code formatting. Think of a team's preference on whether or not to use semicolons at the end of statements. Another is code standards and practices. Think of a team's preference on whether or not to use early returns. We can improve the pull request workflow by unburdening the development team of these implementation details, codifying them, and automating their implementation. The development team can decide on naming conventions, import order, and formatting details, and have automated tools enforce the consistency. This will align the team on expectations and prevent the code from deviating from those expectations. Two popular tools used to accomplish this in a JavaScript project are Prettier and ESLint. Prettier is a tool used to enforce code formatting standards. Think stylistic details like tabs versus spaces and trailing commas. Prettier will not alter the runtime behavior of the code or catch any bugs. ESLint is a linter, which will help you catch bugs and enforce more complicated code quality standards that will alter the runtime behavior of the code, like enforcing the use of let or const over var. Once a project has been integrated with Prettier and ESLint, we can tie these tools into the pull request pipeline. GitHub Actions is a popular CI/CD tool that integrates seamlessly into GitHub pull requests. Let's look at the specifics of how to integrate these tools in a basic JavaScript project, aligning our team's expectations and streamlining the pull request process. First, let's take a look at how to install and configure Prettier. We'll need to initialize npm within our project by running npm init, which will add a package.json file to our project. Next, we can install Prettier by running npm install Prettier. We'll pass the save dev and save exact flags to install the package as a development dependency and ensure our team is all using the same version. We can now configure Prettier. We'll start by creating a .prettierrc file at the root of our project. This file will store our Prettier configuration options and should be committed to version control so that Prettier formats each team member's files the exact same way. We'll also want to create a .prettyignore file at the root of our project. This file tells Prettier which files or folders should not be formatted. Now let's add a format script to our package.json file we created earlier. This will act as a convenient shortcut to run Prettier from the command line. Let's try it out. You'll see we have an example JavaScript file here that has some inconsistent spacing, semicolon usage, and quotations. If we run our format script, we'll see that it took Prettier 25 milliseconds to format our main.js file. Opening up the file, we can see that all strings are wrapped in double quotes, statements no longer end in semicolons, and the spacing has been made consistent. Running a CLI command each time you want to format a file is not optimal. We can configure Prettier to format a file on save. We're using VS Code as our code editor and can find an extension that will improve our Prettier workflow. Simply open the Extensions tab, search for Prettier, and install the official plugin. We can then open the VS Code settings and ensure that Prettier is set as the default formatter. Then double-check that VS Code settings are set to format on save. Now all we need to do is save our JavaScript files and Prettier will format them for us. The next tool we'll look at installing and configuring is ESLint. We'll start by running npm install ESLint and passing the save dev flag to save the package as a development dependency. Next, we need to create a configuration file. We can run npx ESLint init to start an interactive prompt, which will generate a configuration file for us based on our unique project requirements. However, for this demonstration, I've manually created a .eslint.rc file at the root of our project with a basic rule set. We will then add a lint script to our package.json, similar to what we did for Prettier. We're now ready to run our linter. Looking at our example JavaScript file, you may have already noticed something that doesn't follow best practices. We're defining a divide function, but the function is never called. If we run our lint script, we'll see that ESLint reports an error to us that divide is defined but never used. Similar to Prettier, we can install a VS Code extension to help identify linter errors right in our code editor without running a command. Simply search VS Code Extensions tab for ESLint and install the official extension from Microsoft. Our code editor will now highlight any potential linter errors for us. So far, we've installed Prettier and ESLint locally, which will help us maintain uniformity on our end, but there isn't a mechanism in place to help a teammate or to keep a teammate from merging code which conflicts with our Prettier and ESLint configurations. Integrating these tools with the pull request pipeline will help keep our code consistent regardless of our teammates' development environments. The first step is to create a GitHub Actions workflow file under .github/workflows. We can then add two jobs to our file, one for checking that our code is formatted to Prettier standards, and one that ensures that our code standards are up to snuff with ESLint configuration. Once that is complete, we can move over to our GitHub repository settings. Under the Branch Protection Rules tab, we can create a new rule for our main branch. Ensure the Require Status Checks to Pass Before Merging checkbox is checked, and select the Code Formatting and Code Linting checks. Now if we were to open a pull request against our main branch, we would be unable to merge it until our status checks pass. This ensures all code meets the same standards before being merged into our codebase. As we've seen, adding Prettier and ESLint into our pull request workflow can be a powerful tool for aligning developer expectations and ensuring a consistent codebase. Thank you for watching.